The teachers are alive. They're not books. They are the very living essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be? What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from Daytona Beach, Florida. This is Lighting the Void, and I'm your host, Joe Roop. And tonight it's Cosmic Conditions, April the 29th on into the 30th as we head into this eclipse energy. Mary DeCina is back here with us, and you can call in tonight at 1-800-588-0335. If and when we open the phone lines up, you know we're going to. But I'm ready to kick this thing off. Make sure you download the app. We're still updating it. Some of the colors have changed, fonts, logos, things like that. But there's some new features coming as well. So go download the Fringe FM app. Leave us a shout out. Everybody, this is always the most exciting night of the month. Cosmic Conditions. Joe. Mary DeCina. What's up, Mary?
Well, it's Taurus. And so we started our new year. Hi, everybody. We started our new year when the sun, astrological year to mystics like me, when the sun moved in the northern hemisphere to the first sign of the Western zodiac in Aries around the third week of March. For me, that's when I celebrate because I love nature and I do the wheel of the year. So that's when I looked at spring equinox, and I see that that's, it's still a little cold outside here in the mountains, but spring's coming. And if you're a nature mystic like I am, you start to see that in the creatures and the woodlands, and they start to play around. They're happy. It's not going to be so cold at night. And so now, with Aries being the first cardinal fire sign, now we've moved into the energy of Taurus, and we haven't had any eclipses in 2022 at all, but now we have the eve of that as we go into Beltane, as we go into the first day of May, as we go into this weekend of the eclipse in Taurus. Taurus is the second Western zodiac sign. Its element is earth. Its energy is magnetic and yin. And it's the first of the fixed signs. There's 4 fixed signs, and they're known as, they show up a lot in the Bible, the ox and the bull, the lion, the angel creature, and the eagle. So they show up a lot in different cultures around the world. And so Taurus is when Aries says, I wanna, you can't hold me back, see ya, I'm going. Taurus is like, okay, it's time to practice the pause. It's time to practice the pause. And Joe, I'd like to do that. I'd like to start the show with everybody out there, and first I'll start it by telling you, let's pause, take a nice deep breath, and just think of one thing for which you're grateful. Just one thing. There may be a lot of things that have been a roller coaster ride. Maybe you don't have everything you want the way you want it. Want, ego. Yeah, but let's just find one thing that you're grateful for. And I just want to breathe that in. Just close your eyes and breathe that in. It might be that you're breathing. It might be that you're not sick anymore, that you've got your cat or your dog, or you've got a beautiful child, or you just, you're grateful that a big problem finally resolved itself. But it just keep it simple. Something that you're really grateful for. Like I'm not right now, Great Spirit has me not living in Ukraine or Russia. But that doesn't mean I don't have great compassion for that, okay?
I don't have to pay state sales tax in Florida. How about that?
Yeah. And it doesn't have me living on the border with people that got used to their lives in Arizona and Texas and California along the border, and their lives are kind of upside down right now because there's just so much uncertainty. So I want to give us all a little credit that we've all, in this generation, no matter what age we are, we've all lived through 2 really crazy years. And what happened with the power structures of the state or the country or the heads of state or Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, the powers that be, trying to force feed us what we needed to do with our body and interfere with our soul sovereignty. So I just want to congratulate everybody that we've come out on the other side of that, and that we, the people with Saturn and Aquarius, is beginning to say, you know what? Played the game, listened to you, and now I want my life back. And so what's happened with the 2 years of potential lockdown, slowdown, takeaway, how's your breath doing, how you feeling, what really matters in your world as we come to Taurus. And Taurus is slow down, don't move too fast. 2 songs came to me as you're just breathing the gratitude. 2 songs came to me. They're a little bit back in the past, a little bit, maybe 10, 20 years. There's a singer called Enya, for those that haven't heard of her, Enya, for when the replay comes up. And she has a song called Hope Has a Place in a Lover's Heart. And when you hear that, her songs are very Taurian, very Venusian, very soothing. So when you go to YouTube or wherever you go to find a song, just look up Enya, Hope Has a Place in a Lover's Heart, and just let that music be a type of under 5-minute meditation that will realign your vital life force centers, your chakras. And the other one that came to mind when I was meditating the other day was the one by Sting, We Are Spirits Living in a Material World.
That's a good one.
So Taurus is about, and Sting's a Libra, Taurus is about the material world. Taurus is about the bull or the cow in the pasture, and it's like it's a food supply for a great number of people, the cattle, the whole industry of that. But the creature, if you just look at the animal totem and you look at the creature, they're happy out there in the pasture, and Taurus people are happy when you fix them a homemade meal, or they can, Taurus is about, no matter who we meet in business or in our intimate hopeful, Taurus are the people in our life, the whole Taurus energy are the people in our life that maybe we didn't quite get our hair washed after being outside all day waxing the car, or we didn't have to get, and it's just like we can hang out with them, we can sit on the porch with them like we do here in the mountains, and or you can you can call them up, and it's like you can just be you. It's just like I don't have to put on pretense, and it's just such a nice person to hang with, and there's not going to be a convoluted agenda. And maybe we don't see those people all the time, talk to those people all the time, but here's the bonus plan of someone that's reliable. When someone is reliable emotionally, they may not be as exciting as other people that have tripped the light fantastic in your life that you've gone to the big concert with or you had a weekend with. The Taurus energy are the people that you can predict them. Taurus and Cancer are the 2 signs in the zodiac that it's like, don't push me to change. Don't tell me I got to move. Don't tell me what to eat. But I'll be there for you. You're not going to use me. I may have to set some boundaries. I might be that friend that gives you the harsh reality, but, you can count on me. I'm not going to surprise you with some funky, unpredictable personality schizoid. reaction. You know, if I get mad, you'll know what made me mad. If I push back, you'll know why I pushed back, because I'm authentic. I don't have anything to hide. You know, I am what I am. I am who I am. So Taurus, this eclipse is Venus ruled. And Venus in mythology is Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty, the Roman goddess of beauty, the Greek goddess of love and pleasure and desires, the fire of desires, because we're coming off of the element of fire and we've come into the element of earth. So Taurus is like, okay, so in Aries you start talking about what you wanted to eat, what you wanted to touch, where you wanted to go, the cash you want to have, the you know, getting fired up over this or that. And Taurus is like, for God's sakes, just slow down and take care of business.
Yeah. Well, what you were saying earlier, too, my son is a Taurus, like sun and moon, and he's got other Taurus planets, too, and he never talks to me. Like, he's quiet, he keeps to himself, but he'll tell you what he thinks, too, right? But if I call him and say, hey, bub, I miss you, he always makes sure to, like, put, I miss you more, right?
Yeah.
Like, he'll just surprise you with his affection. It's crazy, you know?
Well, Taurus is reliable affection. Yeah. You know, it's not schizophrenic like Gemini can be. It's not like, well, can I start a fight and then try to make it look like it's your fault, like the Libra Aries axis can be sometimes, or the Cancer Capricorn axis. Taurus is just like, play it real with me and you get the best of me. And look at the opposite sign, the polarity of Taurus. It's Scorpio. And so this eclipse, and people sometimes when they're new to astrology, when they're newbies to astrology, they think, oh, there's an eclipse this weekend, so it's going to be like a wild weekend. So when you've been studying star language for 30 to 35 years, and you've had boots on the ground, and I once thought like, oh my God, it's an eclipse weekend, it's going to be like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and sometimes it is. But the eclipses, let me give a little teaching. Like I always like to give a new teaching that you don't always find in a book. This year, because it changes all the time, this year, in our first eclipse, it's a new moon. So the new moon, as I've often said over the last 3.5 years, the new moon is when the sun and moon join in alignment in the same zodiac sign. So sometimes in a given year, it's a full moon eclipse that goes first, then a new moon eclipse. This year, it's a new moon, which is always seeds of change, time to set your intentions and beginnings. So several lucky points about this eclipse. One of the lucky points about this eclipse is that the new moon is the first eclipse, and then on May 15th, 16th, we'll have our full moon and the balance sign to Taurus of Scorpio, the Buddha moon. So it's already better, even though the world's got some cray-cray things going on. It's already better financially. It's already better sensually and for our pleasures, and just you don't have to spend a lot of money with Taurus. It's just about find something every day that makes the corners of your mouth turn upward, and find something in the simple pleasures of life. And so this new moon is about setting. Now, when you look at the sign of Taurus, it's about money matters in a sense. It's like, and here's the way I say it with Taurus. It isn't the amount of money, it's how is money mattering to you? It's not just money matters, it's like, what about money matters to you? Are you frustrated? Do you do the same type of patterns where you spend too much, or then you get mad that you did, and then you have a really good streak, and then all of a sudden it's like it's not there anymore? See, in Taurus, people are looking for some kind of consistency. So when you get the wild signs, when you get like fire and air signs, they'll take a risk. They're all over the place. It's like, live for today, la, 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 la. But see, the earth signs and the water signs is like, no, I'm going to hold on to that $100, because if something funky or unpredictable comes up, or that $200, I got it over there in the cabinet, and it's not going to make me go off the edge with myself that I didn't save money or I didn't pull something back. And then at the end of the month, if something wild didn't happen, you're ahead of the game. So Taurus is about, they like to prepare, they feel more secure. Taurus and Cancer are signs that, and Capricorn, feel more secure if they've got the hidden money, if they've got the hidden resource. Then everything that comes in above that is a bonus. So Taurus relaxes when they can touch it, when it's predictable, when they've got some stash set aside, whatever that is, extra food, a little extra beer, extra pot, whatever the extra pet food, they feel better if they've got stash. They've got stuff in the cabinet. That relaxes a Taurus. They don't like to wing it when it comes to the stable things of life. So we're going to be shifting from this. We've had a stellium which is 3 or more planets in one sign. We've had a stellium in Pisces. The second thing that favors this bloom of this northern hemisphere springtime eclipse is that we've had Mars and Venus. They're still there now. Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune all in Pisces. Pisces is forgiving on every sign has a plus or minus, but Pisces is forgiving. Pisces is the mercy that we're granted when we've been the addict, when we've gone to prison, when we've lost the money, when we've let the good one walk away. Pisces is the mercy that says, you know what? Why don't you quit bitching, and why don't you stop talking about the dark times in your life or all the negativity that's going on, and why don't you cut yourself a break and realize that you did survive the car crash, you did survive the drug addiction, you can cut back on drinking, you don't have to keep repeating and be the hamster on the treadmill and go into the same, disillusions and then complain about why your life sucks, and yet you're taking yourself there by your own volition. So Pisces, right now with the stellium in Pisces, especially Venus is coming up to join Jupiter. Now, the two benefics in astrology, the two best influences involve the planets of Venus, and because Venus is beauty, and Venus is pleasure, and Venus is like life is good, and she's going on the positive side of Pisces. Now, she's going to join up with Jupiter. So let's look at it in mythology. Aphrodite is been invited by Zeus to come and sit, Zeus being the hotshot Greek god, if you will, the head one. Venus has been invited to come to the castle in the sky of Zeus, and they're going to have a very positive meeting. And so that blesses all the other gods, and then underneath the immortals are the mortals, so it's like a good time in nature. It's like when Persephone is returned to Demeter, the daughter that was snatched by Pluto, Hades. Now she gets to come up for 6 months of the year. So there's a couple of really nice, hopeful, blissful, pleasure, principal things that are going along with this new moon, even though it's an eclipse. And another part of it is that Pisces gets along with these Taurus planets of the North Node in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus, very close to this eclipse. Pluto's at 27, 28 degrees of Capricorn. It gets along with Pisces. It's in favor of the other Earth elements of all this Taurus energy. So celestially speaking, as wild as it can look out there in the world, these are planetary celestial signatures of resolution. These are, instead of revolution, these planets coming together, and the fact that it is an eclipse new moon is the overarching bridge that's formed this weekend that takes us into the last week of October and the first week of November of this year. So it isn't just this weekend that we have the Taurus eclipse. It's forming a 6-month bridge that goes all the way into the November 7th, 8th lunar eclipse. That will be when the sun is in Scorpio and the full moon will rise in Taurus. So that's just the vice versa of what's going on here. So if we're walking around in Earth school and we're spirit that has slipped on skin, then our lessons are, it's like this new moon, because it's got a lot of favorable celestial transits and alignments and sacred geometry, it's allowing us to, and here comes the timeline, get your pen ready, this particular eclipse is a graduation from events that we went through about 9 years ago in 2013. In 2013, the end of 2012 and 2013, we had the flip-flop of the nodes. The North Node was in Scorpio. Right now, 9 years since then, the North Node is in the opposite sign of Taurus. So our lessons and what we're to lean into is the Taurus house, the Taurus section, the Taurus zone of our personal horoscope. So Taurus is where we get karmic rewards. this year. So if you don't want to take on the whole study of astrology and you want to cut to the chase and get to the bottom line and just the black and white facts, ma'am, then you want to look at where Taurus is in your personal chart. Do you have any planets in Taurus and Scorpio? That's the secret key that unlocks the prosperity of this time. And when we go back before that, when you go back the entire eclipse cycle, that was 2003. So if you met someone of a profound impact in your life financially or intimately at the end of 2012 and all of 2013, one of the other factors that was going on then not only was the North Node in Scorpio, but Saturn was in Scorpio from 2012 into 2014. So when you look at nodes, it's not just Taurus. It's what's the opposite sign of Taurus. It's not just Scorpio. What's the opposite polarity to Scorpio? Right now, regardless of our sun, moon, and rising, the karmic lessons in all of our charts, I don't care what sign your moon or your sun or your rising sign is, it only is stronger if you've got Taurus, Scorpio strong in your personal nativity, your personal birth chart. But all of us were to lean in to the Taurus, the Venus-ruled aspect of our horoscopes, and we're not to get lazy with the Scorpio side of it. Now, Taurus is ruled by Venus, so it's okay for us to seek beauty, pleasure, simple comforts, reliable people with integrity. And now that also is asking us, am I being reliable? Do I show up? Do I kick people to the curb? Do I ghost people? Can I be counted on? That's the part of us that we have to look in the mirror with right now. Yeah, I want reliable people. Am I that person? You know, do I tell the truth? Do I set boundaries? Do I also take time for myself? Do I make myself a nice homemade comfort food dish that I like, or do I always just doing that for other people? So Taurus is also about, when's the last time you just took a nice bath instead of a quick shower because you're always on the run? Taurus is like you can really nurture yourself with very little money by just taking the time for yourself. So instead of us always expecting the external world or other people or the job or the lover to attend to us or the friend and make us happy and give me the happy pill for the day, how are we showing up and doing that for other people? And when we work on ourselves, the law of attraction automatically will bring that back to you as a mirror point, especially when you've got fixed signs involved. So, and I'll talk about the other dynamics. So the Pisces-Taurus vibration, even though the signs are going to start changing next week, and Venus is going to move to Aries, and Mars is going to move home into Aries, and then Jupiter is going to move into Aries, all in the month of May, the eclipse is featuring our blessing way, if you will, or the graciousness of the God force is the Piscean energy. Now, the minus side of Pisces and the minus side of Jupiter expands anything, no matter what sign it's in, and it's the expansion point in our chart. So the shadow side of Pisces is addiction. I don't care if it's shopping. I don't care if it's food. I don't care if it's drugs or alcohol. It's like when we try to use a substance or rely on something outside of ourselves to fix us, you know, then it's like I can't be happy unless I do that or I have that or they act this way. I'm miserable if I don't have that. That's my crutch. So the negative or the minus side of the draining of energy rather than the propulsion of energy of Pisces, and this can be, all of us have this challenge. The good side of the sign of Pisces is our beautiful spiritual connection. And for me, it's always the Holy Ghost, Great Spirit. So I'm most grateful for that. Literally, I let that breathe me. That's what's in charge of my life, period. And everything else comes second to my allegiance to the Holy Ghost, Great Spirit. So that's my guiding, that's my captain of my earth walk and of my soul ship. So Pisces, right now, Pisces and this stellium in Pisces that we've had all of April is wonderful for any type of revelation work and with our dreams, with all of a sudden you think you're just dreaming and you're having a lucid dream and that loved one that passed away or that unfinished business with someone from your past that you didn't feel real good how that ended up. You felt like it's unfinished business spiritually and psychologically. You can resolve that in a dream or a meditation for yourself and cut the cord psychically and undo the emotional knot with them. The supernatural right now, not from a haunting or a graveyard or a curiosity thing, okay? This is more to do with heaven and earth connection. So the Pisces right now can so accelerate miracles and I mean, snap your finger and in the twinkling of an eye, you're healed of something that's been a major addiction or a major problem, or how we always, knock our own legs out from under us. So Pisces is merciful, compassion, and although some of the same words may have been said to you for the last 20 years that you struggled with that psychological dynamic or that addiction, Pisces can be like all of a sudden it's the epiphany. It's the aha moment, and you're like, oh my God, I get it. I'm free. So that abuse you've been carrying around, or that feeling of abandonment and rejection that's kind of in there, and you work on it and you do your shadow work and all that. I mean, literally, with this new moon, we're offered the opportunity to lay it at the altar of the Christ or Great Spirit or whatever you believe, Buddha or the circle that you draw, whatever it is, the goddess, whatever it is. There's some supernatural dynamics and medicine of the heavenlies and the divine source that's available right now as a tonic and an elixir. And I wouldn't let this weekend, and I wouldn't let the next 5 days go by without at least doing an affirmation of, I now release any known or unknown negativity that I cast upon myself or that I've put upon any other, either in a knowing or an unconscious way. I allow all of my vital life force centers to now be surged and purged in the most harmonious of ways. I'm free from any dark forces. I'm free from any uninvited energies or influences, and I lay that on the altar of the divine. I'm ready to let that go. I don't need stress or addiction or hurt or pain or deception or betrayals to either come from me or come to me. I lay it down on the altar, and I choose to walk in the avenues and the pathways of light source, and I allow myself to make that commitment to be that myself, which means you're going to be setting boundaries with people that try to take advantage of you. So it's it's like mercy and miracles and manifestation, and that will also interpret in the earth walk to monetary blessings. Like, I mean, I was walking in the woods the other day, there was nobody else around, and there was a $100 bill right on the ground. And I'm like, tell me I'm not seeing this. And I look around and I'm like, oh my God, it's an instant manifestation. I get to go out and bless some people. And I mean, I looked, there was nobody. There was no hiking trailers, just on the ground. Me and my dog. I mean, there was nobody to be, no cars, no hikers, no nothing. It was just literally out in the woods. And I just looked up and I said, thank you. I get it. Thank you. That's one heck of a manifestation. And I will go bless people with it. I mean, literally out in the middle of nowhere, there was just a $100 bill folded there. And I'm like, wow, now I know for myself, although I've believed it, now I know how different people that do ceremony or the disciples and the people in the Himalayas and all that say that they go to these pranams, they go to these healings, and they watch them just, like Babaji and Meher Baba and Paramahansa Yogananda. They materialize and they manifest things for people. For me, I knew it was definitely the manifestation of grace. That it was from my supernatural angelic guides, and it was from the Holy Ghost, and it was just like, thank you. Thank you. You just blessed me for the giving person that I am. Even when I don't have it, I still give my time. I still give smiles. I still want to uplift other people. Thank you for that reward. I mean, I knew immediately, Joe, what it was. I knew immediately what it was.
That's
and literally
so cool.
Out of the blue. Yeah. It was profound for me. It was profound because my reaction would have been if I was in a store or it was on the street or in a parking lot, oh my God, I got to go take this to the manager. Somebody lost $100. I mean, that would be me, so it was like Spirit had to set it up to where there was nothing or no one around. So Venus rules the eclipse. And what's going to happen with this, the signs that are most blessed by this, although if you lean into the Taurus area of your chart and you stop expecting too much of yourself or other people, and you find the simple, profound pleasures from nature or your day, even if you've got $1 in your pocket, it might be the beach, it might be the rainbow, it might be the flowers that are beginning to bloom. As a matter of fact, the visual, artistic Sabian symbol for this particular energy of this 10 degrees of Taurus eclipse and Sabian symbols, I'm not going to the whole story, you go up a degree. So the 11th degree of Taurus is a woman who is sprinkling and watering some flowers. So if you look at the visual of that the clairvoyant Elsie Wheeler came up with, if you overwater the flowers, you can get root rot. If you don't water them enough, then they get parched and they could dry out or just die. So there's some kind of alchemical balance of when you're giving something that needs to grow in the earth, and it needs to have the fire of the sun, and it needs to have the air and the oxygen, and when you water it, you're actually giving it living water into the soil, which is its actual foundational base. So that's what we're looking at right now. You've got a lot of Pisces, that's water, so that's your emotions. That's your feelings. That's the orbiting of what can I feel and heal. What can I heal by feeling into it without condemning myself or judging myself or blaming or shaming myself or letting anybody else throw their crap onto me. This is not a time that you take anybody else's blame or shame about what's not happening for them. And they're trying to put that on you, nor do we need to be doing that to anybody else. That's an absolute 360-degree orbit balance there. But it's more to do with what can I either set a boundary on and say, I'm going to disengage from that game. Hope has a place in a lover's heart. And so Taurus is about what makes me feel secure. How do I actually let another person in my life know that they're secure with me? Settles on you got a friend in me. So it's the people and the places that we can be comfortable with and that we can grant comfort to. But Taurus is about slow down, smell the roses, go plant something. The dark night of the soul that you had in 2012 and 2013, the intimate connections that you had, the job you loved, the school that you graduated from, the people, the friends, maybe some of them have passed away, maybe some of them have moved or you've moved from that location. But later on this weekend, think about what was profound in your life with the place you were at and the people that you were interacting with in 2012 and 2013, because those are big psychic clues for healing and rising up and leveling up with this particular eclipse that's going to give us a graduation present as we go into the next 6 months. It's like the background patina. It's like the background energy regardless of what else is coming in May, June, July. And when we get to that second Pluto return vibration in like around that July 9th, 10th, 11th, that has to do with if you live in America. When we get to that time frame in July, it's going to be how we start to see that we're going to be backing up from being chained and leashed by harsh rulers or AI, artificial intelligence, trying to seduce us, whether it's Twitter or what, we're not going to get caught up into political illusions or governmental illusions, especially in this country, and we're going to start to be really, again, having another very profound awakening, because it will be when the sun's in the water sign of Cancer, because America was born under the sign of Cancer, the crab, moonchild. And so when we get to the second Pluto return in mid-July, it's going to be the midpoint of this eclipse as we're going into the Scorpio period. So I've given you clues from your past, 2012, 2013. Go back then in your mind. What was most important to me? Where did I live? Who was I interacting with? What was my BFF? Was I in love with anybody? Did I leave one job and start a whole new type of exploration or adventure? Where was I at with my spirituality and my consciousness? Did I start an addiction then? Did I get clean from an addiction? Then look back to 2012 and 2013, and then look forward to mid-July of this year, because there's another big blessing for the people that are listening to the intuitive inspirations of our divine holy host. That's it in a nutshell before I go through how it's hitting each one of the signs. That's it in a nutshell. Like, these are the secret codes and the celestial mysteries that when, an astrologer and a mystic can teach you astrology from how it can be the engineering of empowerment, or it can help you engineer. Engineer means you're involved. You're like busy. You've got boots on the ground. You've got some work to do and some things to study. And you got to be a time traveler and go back with astrology. You got to go back in time when the cycle was either opposition or the same, and you can go forward. And so that's why time is an illusion, because you've got the advantage of when the cycles happened before and when they're coming up to favor this one that we're speaking about tonight, as the eclipse is happening at the end of April. So when you hear the replay of the show and it's July of 2022, you're going, oh yeah, I did put my boots on the ground. I did force myself to appreciate the simple pleasures in my life that don't always involve money. But I'll finish that part of it off with this. Taurus is always about, let's talk in financial terms. What are you now desiring, Venus, Aphrodite, to invest more of your time, your attention, your work, your concentration on in order to reap benefits from how you're investing your actual time as a worker for what it is that you're wanting to manifest, because it isn't going to be just like it kisses your butt. Taurus is about, you got to go out there and put the hay out for the bull and the cows. You got to go put the feed out there. You got to make sure that you move them around so they don't eat all the pasture. You know, there's work to do that. So this Taurus is about that day-to-day dedication, slow but steady, like you don't have to do 12 hours one day and just crash and be irritable the next day. That's Aries stuff and Gemini stuff, you know, the whirling, you know, rapid fire, you know, 8 irons in the fire. Taurus is about, no, this is my objective, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to be predictable, I'm going to be stable, I'm going to be dedicated, and I'm going to get this done. In the tarot, it's Pentacles. So I look at the Ace of Pentacles for the diamonds and regular cards, and the King of Pentacles is the Taurus energy. So if you find, those of you that do tarot, if you find that you're beginning to get some Pentacle cards that are coming up more regularly when you do your own readings, if you're at that point that you can do your own readings, that you're objective enough, when the Pentacles start to be the dominant suit, Pentacles or diamonds, that come up in your cards, then you're on the right kind of track to be really seeing that, yes, this is what you need to pay attention to. You need to be doing less of that and more of this. So when Pentacles this month are showing up in your reading while the Sun and various planets are beginning to dance into Taurus, the Pentacles in your cards will be telling you, yes, this is the energy, the work, the investment of time and money and concentration and creativity that will net you a better payoff. Because with Taurus, you're dealing with, is it credit? When they go to the store and they go credit or debit. So look at how you might be creating a debit in your life by allowing other people to drain your energy, or you taking responsibility for the people that are too harsh with you, or the people that are, they're doing fine, but they're draining your energy. So you're a bank. Yeah, you're the bank. And so who are you giving a loan to, and are they paying it back in a regular, reasonable fashion, or are they BSing you, or are they just wanting to come back all the time for more energy, not just money, but more of your energy? So stop letting yourself go into a recession or a depression or a default of like the debt in this country right now type of a thing. So look at the symbology that's happening around us. You know, look at how there's been, I think we're up to 15 now. Clyde Lewis was talking about it the other night on his show, Joe, about how there's there were 13, now there's 15 food processing plants that have had fires set to them. Besides the ground beef and besides the avian bird flu and all that kind of stuff, there's something. Taurus is food. Taurus is a shelter, some kind of shelter, whether you're living in an RV and you've got your car in your house in one unit, or if you're putting just, you buy one can extra a week so you don't have to worry about the thunderstorm or the hurricane or the ice storms that come. Get your, one of the great prepper foods you can get if you like them is get yourself a can of black olives. Because that's pure protein, it's omega-9. So it's not meat, but as a vegetable, as a fruit, actually, it's got high protein in it. So it's inexpensive, and if you can tolerate the taste of olives, I mean, not everybody likes them, but it's one of those things that you can eat instead of just getting a can of Campbell's soup. So Taurus is about, if you prepare now, you won't experience a famine. You won't and be quiet if you're prepping. Be quiet, because lazy people that don't prep like to think about, oh, so-and-so has a bunch of food stored, let's go rob them. So shut your mouth. The opposite side of Taurus is Scorpio. Be quiet about what you're doing. And if you want to gift somebody something that's not a lot of money, and they love canned pears, the next time you see them, maybe it cost you $1.25 at a store or something. Here, I bought you a can of pears. I know you like them. Oh, I know you love frozen, raspberries. Here, I bought you a bag of that. In Taurus, it's kind of nice to give food gifts. Whether you give them a gift card for lunch or you buy them a pizza and have it delivered to their house. I mean, surprise people with the tangible things of life. That is so nice. They bought me a plant. They bought me lunch at my favorite little beach bar. That was really nice. Instead of just like, well, I don't have $50 to take them on a date. Okay, so it's cheaper if you just send them a pizza. It's still romantic. It was still a kind thing for a friend to do. It didn't cost you $50 to go out and gas or dinner, but you sent your friend a pizza. Or you sent your friend, you bought them a dessert or a dozen donuts or whatever it is. Something that you think about what they like. What's a comfort food or what's a jazzy thing that you can give them? Because I'm telling you, the part of me that's half Italian, I'm telling you, if you cook or you bake or you give somebody something that's their sweet spot when it comes to their favorite meat or food or dessert, they don't forget you. Even if you break up with them, they long for you because they had that soft moment. They had that sweet spot. You were different than anyone else that they dated or had as a friend because you got creative. And it's primal, like when we're little babies and we can't feed ourselves. Taurus is all that primal stuff. When you're having a crappy day and somebody says, hey, I made lasagna for you. You did? Or hey, I made a homemade cake for you. Or hey, I made some homemade soup in the crock pot. Come on over. And they don't even know that you've got 50 cents in your pocket, but out of the blue, they invited you over to be able to share a meal with them. I mean, it goes through every culture, Joe, every culture about breaking bread, the wine and the bread, or sitting down for a communion type of, the church picnics, or, at the funeral or the wedding, the receptions afterwards. There's a lot of big rituals and customs in life, even at a hand fasting. There's the cakes and there's the wine as you turn each one of the elements. So right now, think about what you're really good at making. And if you can't cook and you don't bake, then like I said, send a pizza to somebody. Find that special and go do that. Just show up with it. So this is about really earth life sweet spots. What is it? Like there was a waitress, she always loved to wear fake eyelashes, and it's like, I'm not doing that. But I went to a store and I said, oh, look, they got all these little fake eyelashes, big ones, rhinestones. It's probably like $10 worth of eyelashes. And the next time I went to the restaurant, I said, here, I got something for you. And she goes, oh my God, it's a bag of eyelashes. Nobody ever did. I said, well, you love that crap, so I thought I'd bring you some eyelashes. I found them on sale, so I said, I don't want any of them. So there you go. And she goes, who does that? And I'm like, Mystics in the Mountain. Thank you for being a good server. Thank you for always making my day nice because you're a really nice server and you don't irritate me. But it wasn't the money. It's that they know somebody in this crazy world knows that you thought about something really specific for them. So pay attention when you're out. Taurus is also like how the bull watches you when you come too close to the pasture. It's like looking at you like, yeah, you feel lucky? Come on in here. Come on up in here. So it's how money matters to you, not just our bills, not just whether we're stressing or relaxing because we got our bills paid, but how can we use how can we use patience as a tool of a virtue tool for us? So it's a cycle of evolving through creature comforts, pleasure principles, and just like what it is we like about being in our own apartment or our own house or out in nature. You don't have to go on a big old nature hike. Maybe just go sit on a bench somewhere, and de-stress yourself. Taurus is the time of year every year that we need to just go easy on ourselves and not reach for that or this. And if I don't have that, I'm going to be in a bad mood today. So happy birthday, Taurus. And you and Pisces, Taurus and Pisces, are the signs that are absolutely in the celestial sweet spot. And you may not see that, like you were talking about your son. You may not see that so obviously around a Taurus person, but trust me, Taurus, Scorpio, Pisces, and Virgo, those 4 signs right now, they spend a lot of time contemplating, and they have a lot going on in their internal universe, their innerverse. They have a lot going on all the time in their inner world. So they make note of it every time. Like you said, Joe, when you tell them, I miss you. So that's big to them. That's big to them that you didn't that validates for them that, it's like, you punched their parking ticket, it's like, oh, I got you because you gave them, you don't know he doesn't talk much, so you don't know what kind of day that he had, your son, but when you do that, it's like, wow, my dad picked up on me. My dad picked up on me, and my dad made sure he got a hold of me today to give me a slice of emotional dessert.
Right, I got you. That makes sense. Yeah.
So for Taurus people, it's like, keep it simple, stupid. Let it be food. Let it be something like, a bag of eyelashes. The girl happens to be a Taurus too. So it's like, let astrology and some of these mystical things work for you in a really good way. Like a Gemini is going to want you just to spend time with them so they can tell you all about themselves. A Gemini or an Aries just wants you to listen to them. Go on and on and on about what's going on in their life, what's working, what's not working. And so the way you tie it to them, it's like, oh, God, I'm just going to let them go on for the next 15 minutes because it'll make them feel better if I do it. And they don't even realize that they're just talking about themselves. But that's just what those signs do. So do you want to take a break, or do you want me to run through the signs?
We still have 12 minutes. So you can start the signs if you want.
Okay, so happy birthday, Taurus. We'll start with you. So as a Taurus, it's your time of the year where everything is starting up for you. And add to the fact that the North Node is in your sign. That, again, hasn't been there for 18 years and 6 months. Halfway back was why I mentioned the end of 2012 and 2013 for all the signs, but especially for Taurus and its opposite sign of Scorpio. So the spotlight is on you, Taurus. No, not just because it's your birthday, but there's a lot of dynamic stuff. North Node, Uranus, the eclipse, and 10, 11 degrees of Taurus. So it's about Taurus getting in touch with my sense of who I am, and especially in who I'm allowing in my social circle and my group, and am I receiving help from outside sources. And Taurus right now, no matter what age they are, they're thinking about their path in life right now. Like, do I want to stay here? Do I want to live here? Do I want to sell this? Is this what I want to do for work? Is this who I want to be with? Like Taurus people that they may be stepping completely out of the social circle that they've always been familiar with or hanging out with. Like, it really upsets a Taurus or a Cancer when a friendship goes awry. They relax more when they can say, oh, we've been friends for 30 years. We've been friends all through high school. We didn't see each other for a while, but, we knew each other back in high school. The Taurus and the sign of Cancer, the crab, they want the reliability of time. For some reason, it makes them feel more secure that they've known them a long time, or that's always the good relative, or that's always the sweet spot. Like they like to go back in time in their childhood. They want to go back to the beach or that point in the mountains or that particular zoo that they went to when they were a kid because it represented a good time for them. So for Taurus, because there's an eclipse happening in your sign, and this also goes for their opposite sign of Scorpio, Taurus, you're supposed to be now, and they don't like change. They're very stubborn about change. You cannot push a Taurus to make change. The way they kind of relax themselves is if they can go buy something, like they distract themselves by the new phone or whatever it is that they're into. So you have to watch with Tauruses. They want a lot of stuff, but they don't want to spend a lot of money. They'll let you spend your money, but when it comes to them, it's good to teach a Taurus, especially if they're a child, no, you're going to buy lunch today. It's going to be good for your soul. Trust me. You're going to dip into your little savings account, and you're going to buy that friend lunch, or you're going to buy lunch today. Well, you always buy lunch. I know. So it's good to teach Taurus the give and take of blessing that friendship or that relationship, like not just always wanting to spend money on the guy or the girl that's going to be, possibly giving you some type of happy moment later on, like they're investing, hoping to get some kind of affection back from it. So this is a really dynamic cycle for you, Taurus. So I would say put your best foot forward. This is a good time to take risk with maybe getting that new job, or, accelerating in sales or marketing, or like stepping out of the box. And I would say for Tauruses that love to sit at home and play video games all day, this is not the cycle to do that. This is the cycle because you'll be going into Gemini where you could really level up your game with prosperity and making more money if you apply yourself at this point in this year of 2022. If you're an Aries, it's your second house. This eclipse is hitting your second house. Keep in mind, we're going 6 months. So for Aries people, if that's your rising or your sun sign, this is about kind of separating the wheat from the chaff type of a thing, as far as how much people are appreciating the time that they spend with you, the work that they do. Are they dumping their work on them? Are they being a team player? Because Aries right now is thinking about, I am going to streamline my life to where even if I do less of that and I take a side job over here, I'm going to start giving myself permission to bring in some extra cash instead of zones that tend to stress me. So I've got a lot of Aries clients and friends that said, you know what, I'm going to go work there 2 days a week because that's something that I don't have to have as a maybe. I'm going to go over and do that because it's something different. I'll meet new people. It's opened me up to a new social venue, and it's also I can count on blah, blah, blah money from that 2 or 3 days that I do there part-time. I don't want to work there full-time. I'm going to do it part-time because it keeps me, with Aries and Gemini, they have to find something that keeps them from getting irritated and bored, no matter what the job is. It can't get too mundane or they start to get bored if there's a lot of air and fire. So for Aries, I would say be on the lookout for some interesting prosperity options that either are absolutely new things, opportunities that are coming towards you that you hadn't thought of before. One of the Aries clients that I have, they took a job just for happy hour. Just happy hour. It's like, I won't drink because when I'm a bartender, I don't drink, but they took a job being a happy hour and they're meeting all kinds of people. And they said, it's never a temptation for me to drink, and I'm getting around all kinds of different people. It's giving me a pulse of who's dating who and what's going on. They kind of been out of the dating game for a while. And it's fascinating them because they get to do their social psychological watching of people. And there's I make fast tips and I'm there from 5 to 8 and I'm home. And I still do what I want to do, and it doesn't wear me out. So it's something new. Geminis and Aries like that new little titillating new adventure out there. They're kind of like little pirates that way. So I would say to Aries, keep your eyes open for some type of collaboration, even if it's part-time. Like you'll only be doing that with that person for the next 3 to 6 months, and then you're not going to be doing that anymore. So it could be like there's a temporary type of bonus that could be coming towards you, because Venus is also your creative artistry, the things that you do well. So whatever you find that you've had to kind of push to make happen, I feel like could be there's something new or new people and not just the same old, but it's an easier cycle for Aries that they're coming into over the next 3 to 6 months to have interesting new things to do with prosperity and actual cash in hand and maybe what they want to invest in versus what's coming toward them. If you're a Gemini, it's not your time right now to be external. This eclipse is in your 12th house, so it's a weed and feed type of an experience. It's time for you to go into your unconscious patterns, see that therapist, do that meditation, do that past life regression, learn more about yourself in a psychological, mystical, therapeutic, holistic way, because this is the time of year. Think about Gemini. Taurus is the sign before Gemini, so this is embryonic. It's very deep. It's very personal. You may find yourself kind of wanting to shy away from a lot of people or social interactions. This is your time of year to do that. Again, your rebirth comes once we get to like May 20th. This is your time of the year to process the last year. Your new year is coming May 20th, 21st. So this is like when we go through Christmas and Hanukkah, that's what this is. When you go through your 12th house, it's like, what do I want to do less of? What do I want to do more of? Kind of like what the eclipse is doing to Taurus. So look at how your unconscious patterns are either blessing you, how you're relating to them with your willingness to be seen once you get to your new year. So all this Pisces stuff, this Pisces stellium that was really strong in March, April, was hitting Gemini from a standpoint of their 10th house. So they've really been looking at home improvements and career yeses or nos, pluses or minuses. So Geminis are kind of like saying, I don't miss that job. I don't miss doing that. I'm glad I'm not in that school. I'm glad I'm not with that particular social crowd anymore. They've kind of wanted to just like reinvent themselves, and it's an excellent time to do that. When you flow with your celestial cycles and you kind of flow with it like spices or medicines, sometimes you're in the mood for chili and sometimes you're in the mood for vanilla custard. Completely different things. When you're in the mood for Chinese, it's completely different than Southern fried food. So for Gemini right now, it's like they're in a really specific zone of wanting to find something that they're intrigued by, but right now they're acutely aware of what they don't want anymore. And that's not negative, it's just having a revelation. If you're Moonchild Cancer, sun sign or rising sign, your experience socially of groups and your community, your neighborhood, the neighbors, your new friends, and how that relates to your spiritual path. I think that could be some really soul beautiful conversations, and just having the glass of wine and contemplating life, and they open up to you and you open up to them, and you both are blessed because of it. I feel like it's still waters that run deep with Cancer Moonchild right now. There's some, like the other person's story is somehow helping unlock you, and your story, not that you're competing with them, but your story of how you rose up over a difficult illness or a difficult time in your life, and how you bounced back, and it made you, here's the thing for Cancer right now, how it makes you better instead of bitter.
Right.
So there's a sharing that can go on right now with that water sign that's more profound than they know. I mean, there's something that could really be like, instead of Pandora's box being opened and everything flying out that's creepy or freaky at first, I feel like it's a treasure chest. The treasure chest is opening up for the Cancer rising or the Cancer significant moon or sun sign, because all the Pisces is blessing that. And guess what? A Taurus eclipse is blessing it too. So the earth and water signs are pretty well being favored by this. If you're a Leo, it's worldly calling. How is the worldly calling enhancing or interfering with your inner work? And so with Leo right now, it's team effort. There's other people involved. It's not just about you. It's how you're nurturing and supporting other people, and how that's coming back to bless you or curse you. So for Leo right now, it's the Taurus challenges you. Saturn in Aquarius, that's your opposite sign. That's telling you focus a little bit more on your significant others, whether that's parents or children or coworkers or your mate. So if you're a Leo right now, this is a time for you to say, how am I doing with my key partners in my life? Business, monetary, spiritual, intimate. If you're a Virgo, Pisces is your opposite sign. So you're really kind of sitting back going, man, life's intense in an interesting way right now. The Taurus favors you. The Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees favors you, but the Pisces is pulling you more to look at what you used to want in a sexual, or what you used to want to live with you, or in a hanging out buddy, or a partying buddy, or absolutely getting stoned out of your mind somehow in conversation, or however you do that. I mean, you just let your hair down and go wild, your party and running buddy, your ride or die person. That's all shifting. For Virgo, they're finding that they're getting a more sincere and a more profound dynamic with the males and the females that they're meeting. It's just like, wow, my whole world is shifting for the better. So Virgos are getting a real nice wake-up call on the law of attraction. So if you Virgos have been focusing on bitching and moaning and criticizing and being rather self-absorbed, then you're going to find you've got pushback from people going, you're a jerk, or why do you always talk about money? So Virgo, you've got like, you're mirroring yourself right back to you. So the more that you appreciate the dynamic of having someone in your life that can be interesting and fulfilling, the more that you're willing to meet them halfway and give, you're going to find that it's really nice what you're attracting. If you're a Libra sun, Libra rising, how your inner healing, especially since back to 2012. For you Libra Aries, going back to that 2012, 2013, when Saturn was bouncing around in your second house and bouncing in the second and the eighth house then, because Saturn was in Scorpio then, you've got a new shifting of your values. And so you're able now to, as the biblical statement goes, to thine own self be true. So for Libra, or a strong Libra moon, rising, sun sign, if you say to yourself, I've got to quit going against myself just to be a people pleaser. I've got to stop letting something or someone take away from what I know is the best thing overall for me in this job, with the loving, with the social dynamic. I mean, when I really feel like it's 11 o'clock at night and I want to go, I need to not feel guilty about that. It's okay if I leave them wanting a little more. I don't have to hang on and be the last person that leaves the party. I don't have to be the first person that gets to the party, and I don't have to be the last person at the party. So it's about not allowing needy, greedy, clingy people in business or in your personal life try to throw you into their own unhappiness, and they're like sucking the energy out of you. So with the Libra, show up, be charming, be engaging, be authentic, and then just say, okay, I'm going to go away now. And then, do that. And they're just like, well, that was really nice that Sally came or Andrew came. That was really nice. You like putting a little sparkle dust there, and then you're taking off. And that's going to end up getting you more affection and more attention because you're not allowing yourself to get caught in the same things that frustrate you, where you're being frustrating or it's frustrating you. If you're a Scorpio, all this stuff, listen, Scorpios, eclipses can be wild cards, okay? So it's for everybody. Yeah, we're going to be fastening our seatbelts. The Pisces stuff favors Scorpio in a romantic sense, but the Taurus stuff is saying your significant relationships are going to change. If you're a Scorpio, and Scorpios tend to play their cards close to their chest. They're like the person that's, you can't tell how their cards are when they're betting at the poker table or at the casino. But Scorpios have been contemplating, actually, since 2012, 2013, about what they like and what they don't like. And they've been upgrading quietly, deep inside themselves. Like a Scorpio will plan for 7 to 9 years what they want in a person and what's going to happen. And if they're in a marriage that they're not happy with, and they kind of like it for the money, but they really, they really don't want to screw up the financial part of it. Oh, do I have a lot of clients with that one? Like, I'm really not happy, but I don't want to have to lose the money or move. So that's going to change. That's going to change for Scorpio.
That stuff makes me sick. I don't know why it bothers the hell out of me.
Because they're compromising their soul.
Yeah, it's like, I hear it all the time, too. It's like, I'm not.
Well, that's the shadow work. That's shadow work for Taurus, Scorpio. That's shadow work. So here's what happens. The Taurus part of our chart gets us scared of change, and the part that we think is the money, well, we don't want to give up the money. Well, I've spent so many years with this person, or I've made so much money, or we've got mixed money, and what they don't realize is they're literally making themselves physically and psychologically sick. So the money they're spending on booze, or the money they're spending on sleeping pills or anti-anxiety meds, or try to get themselves, mother's little helper to get through the day, they're actually depleting their health and their vital life force, and then it knocks them on their ass when they find out that partner's been cheating all along, and they thought that, they had them controlled, and it's just like, oh no, they love me enough, they wouldn't do that to me. And that's the person that gets their, the bullseye right between their third eye when the partner says to him, and it could be Scorpio, when the Scorpio says to him, I'm out. I give a damn about your money, I'm out. Because when a Scorpio's done, they may have enjoyed the money that they built up together with somebody, but when a Scorpio wants out, they'll walk. They'll just walk, and it's just guillotine. That's a Scorpio. They'll guillotine. And it leaves the person with their mouth hanging open thinking, well, I didn't want to leave the marriage or the job. I never thought the boss would do that to me, or I didn't want to leave that marriage because we'd spent 20 years together, and I really didn't want to split up the money, or I've got the kid, or I've got the job, or I've got this, and we've got investments and all that. And
it's prostitution to me at that point.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. It's vital life force prostitution. Absolutely. You're selling yourself short. But I'm telling you, this eclipse and the North Node in Taurus, that's all Scorpio's 7th house. So that has to do with, of course, not just marriage or not just an intimacy, but the way I categorize it, so it encompasses everything. Their relative situations, like if they've been lying to themselves about their relationship with their dad or their mom, and they've shut their mouth, but they secretly are frustrated because the parents have the money, blah, 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 whatever it is. See, what's happening is that the Taurus is opposing the Scorpio. So the Taurus is saying we lean into Taurus. So for Scorpio, Taurus is the 7th house. And if you just kind of simplify that, whoever or whatever and wherever I go, as a Scorpio, it's in the category of a significant other, like they go to that job, they own that business, they see that relative, they have the most stress with that significant other family member, or that significant other mate, or that significant other job. That's what's going to be the phoenix. It's going to combust and burn. It's going to be a spontaneous combustion. People are going to be, when I'm telling you, you can people think Scorpios, they go a long way, and all of a sudden it's just like, I don't want you anymore. I don't care. I'm done.
Well, everybody has a line. At some point, you have to remember that too. Like,
absolutely,
everybody has a breaking point. So,
but a Taurus will cling on way past a Scorpio will. A Taurus doesn't want to change it just because they don't like change. So someone that's got a Mars or a Venus in a Taurus, they want to hang on because they really don't want to divide the assets.
Why does that make me nauseous?
When they realize,
it makes me nauseous thinking about it.
I know. A Scorpio's just like, you know what? Here's when you know a Scorpio's done. When they're not angry anymore, they're not playing games anymore. It's dangerous when a Scorpio gets bored. Because when they're bored, they're already planning their exit. So Scorpios, I promise you, between now and October, much to your surprise, I don't care if you're 75 or 45 or 15, the love of your life that you'd either given up on or you didn't think was going to happen. If you got a Scorpio rising or you're a Scorpio, and more secretly, if you're a Scorpio moon, there's going to be something that fate sends you to where, well, doggies, look at that. I never thought that would happen. And, you know, people, when they get past 50 or 55, they think, well, that's not going to happen for me, or they're widowed or whatever. I'm not going to get married again, or that's not going to happen for me. And all of a sudden I go, watch out. This eclipse just going to send you like Cupid's going to say, it don't have to be February 14th for my ass. I'll shoot an arrow whenever I want to.
Yeah, and a lot of times those people tell me about the money thing. Those are the people who always say, well, you should have a better attitude about money and this and that. And I'm like, how can I?
I don't want your attitude. That's what I say to them. I don't want your attitude. I'm not selling myself short.
Yeah, right.
So, our attitude, that's a good point. Our attitude about material resources, that's Taurus. And if it's psychologically beating us up and putting us into self-abuse, you know, we choose to abuse ourselves. We determine, nobody else can make us happy or unhappy. We are in charge of that. If somebody tries to make us unhappy or tries to be abusive, we decide if we're going to stay at that job or in that relationship. Nobody, as much as people want to argue with me on that, oh, no, you're making a decision to stay, you're making a decision to return, you're making a decision of all the people on the planet that are possible for you to meet, greet, or sleep with, you're choosing that again and again and again. So it's not their fault. Start with you. Well, I think anything metaphysically, you start with yourself.
Yeah.
So Scorpio's got, it's going to surprise the Scorpio that lover from the past or that new person that they never thought they would ever meet is going to come in the next 6 months and go, you're it for me. You ready? Yeah. Now that also, Joe, on a higher octave, could be absolutely supernatural. You know, absolutely supernatural manifestations, like they actually are all of a sudden aware of that main angelic guide, or they have like incredible religious or spiritual epiphanies within that church or within that religious belief. I mean, there's like substantive type of magic that's going to happen around Scorpios. Now, what's the minus to that? The minus to every sign's got a plus and minus. If Scorpios out there have been Machiavellian, deliberately abusive and mean, I'll be surprised if they stay on the planet. This is a big eclipse for Taurus and Scorpio. So if you're a mean Scorpio out there, you know, you've been doing things for a long time and you've gotten away with it, especially for the last 19 to 20 years, here it comes. Here it comes. And I, for one, will be glad that you got your comeuppance. Just saying, if you're a Sagittarius, your daily habits, you know, like the day-to-day habits you have, your beliefs that you've had. With Sagittarius, it's always about beliefs. And I have a lot of Sagittarius that have been calling me because the nodes were in Gemini Sag over the last 2 years, and now they're in Taurus Scorpio. And a lot of Sagittarians are literally going back to some beliefs that they let their partner or their job or this generation or whatever, they kind of gave it up and didn't pay attention to it. But I'm finding a lot of Sagittarians they're hunkering down, you know, like they're really hunkering down and going deeper into that spiritual study or deeper into that psychological cleansing. So bravo to Sagittarians, because they're all about, it's not the material world right now. For Sagittarius have figured out that the direct link of their physical wellness, whether they're getting stress sick and finding that they're having medical problems, is tied to whether they're happy. Like Sagittarians are getting it. What Scorpios are coming into, Scorpios and Taurus, Sagittarius just had delivered to them on a plate to do with how stress and anxiety is related, and OCD and ADD, it can affect your actual physical health after it's infected your mental health. So Sagittarians are busy figuring out the puzzle pieces. Capricorn, it's creative, it's dynamic, it's prosperous. The Pisces gets along with you. Pluto's at the end of 28, 27 degrees of Capricorn. It goes retrograde every year for about 5 or 6 months. It's gone retrograde. It's going to be retrograde until October. When Pluto retrogrades, it gives us a break from all the massive transformations that we have to go through. And guess what? It's going to give America a break, too. We're going to start to see some resolutions, and people are going to say, no, I'm not putting up with, I'll take the law in my own hands if I have to, with people just breaking in and certain governors and cutting back on the police and people attacking people on the subways and all that. Don't pull this chain, because I won't be calling 911. You'll be calling 911. For them not to answer. So you're going to find a lot of people saying, you know what, if the government's crazy, I'll protect my own. However that has to be. So Capricorn right now is very supported for some open adventures, or finally if a business was struggling or an avenue of your life was struggling. Now, Pluto's in your sign, so it could be that a parent passes away. It could be that, you decide to close down a business or whatever, because Pluto's all about, you let one thing die and there's a renewal of another kind that's coming. So it's not a negative thing, but some doors are going to close for some new ones to be able to open with full fanfare. And two more signs. Aquarius, it's home, it's hearth, it's domestic, it's family issues, it's parents and kids and relatives, and a lot of Aquarians are finally going to be dropping the gauntlet on, you know what, I've put up with that for 10 years. I've put up with that for 15 years, and I'm not doing it like that anymore, Dad. I'm not doing it like that anymore, Mom, and or going through that phase with your kids. So Aquarius are going to be like, they're going to have to maybe use some of their, Aquarians are really good at disassociating emotionally. They're good at being aloof. And they just get really quiet, and they're the ones that can sit back going, all right, I'm going to let you learn the lesson the hard way. Some of that is coming up with Aquarians with stepkids or other people's in-laws and stuff like that. The Aquarians are like, even their third eye, they're rolling their eyes and their third eye right now going, oh my God, I can't believe I have to deal with this again. But they're kind of being a support to the partner or the relatives that's tired of putting up with grumpy old dad or psychotic mom or whatever it is. There's a lot of stuff going on with Aquarius evolving around the home and the family, and whether they'll stay living, whether they're living. And part of that will be physical manifestation of decorating a room, closing in a porch, changing the plumbing, dealing with the roof and electrical. There's going to be some things going on to keep you at home and busy at home with improvements, Aquarius. And then Pisces, I really want to see the Pisces rise up to where they don't succumb to the addictive habits or the addictive beliefs. I mean, I've got a couple of Pisces I know, and it's sad. They actually had a physical problem. They actually had to have some surgery, and now they're addicted to pain pills. They're absolutely addicted to pain pills. And I just learned this year, I didn't know this term, from some of my medical friends, that people that come up with excuses to either do self-harm or to go to the emergency room saying, oh, I've got a fever, I don't feel good, when they've had surgery on a certain part of their area so they can get more pain pills, the emergency room has a name for them. They're called frequent flyers. That's like the inside name for people that are addicted to pain pills. And they say they lost their bottle or somebody stole their pain pills or, oh, they've got to go, because if they go into the ER, then I guess that's the fastest way they get more pain pills or anxiety meds or whatever. So Pisces have got to come up because of this eclipse and that stellium in Pisces. There's going to be planets that change really fast. Venus is going to go into Aries. Now watch it change from the last sign of the zodiac. Watch these next few days. On May 2nd, so like next week, Venus is going to go into Aries. She's saucy, she's spicy, she's sensual, and she's playful in Aries. She's not shy anymore. Mars is going to come home and complete the whole 12-sign cycle. Mars is coming home to its power place in Aries by May 25th. Jupiter is going into Aries on May 11th. So on the 2nd, on the 11th, and by the 25th, we have a stellium coming in Aries. So that's going to start to add exuberance to the fire signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and they're going to start to see rapid-fire changes that are taking place. And in the month of May, when the moon is moving through the sign of Aries or Libra, like the day that Mars goes into Aries on May the 25th, the moon is going to be into Aries. And by the time we get to the new moon on May 30th, we're going to start to have the dance of Gemini planets with Aries. Those are very compatible. So right now, if you're an earth or a water sign, so if you're Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, or you're Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, this is the time for you to look in the mirror and say, what do I need to cleanse? What do I need to stop making excuses about? What do I need to stop being in denial about that I know is causing me problems in my life? This is the best time for you to take action to level up in your life. because it's all going to start shifting to Aries and Gemini, and those fire and air signs are going to be in the spotlight. So Aries, even though you've had your birthday cycle, now we're going to have Mars and Venus coming together in Aries, and then we're going to have the most benevolent planet, Jupiter, go into Aries. So it's been 12 years, Aries. It's been 12 years since you've had the luckiest planet in the sky, Jupiter, bless your sign. So what I say, go back 12 years now, Aries. Last time that Jupiter was in Aries was 12 years ago, as of May 11th. So Aries are coming into where things are going to be a lot easier for them. And for Libras, or if you have Libra in your chart, the Aries is going to bless you in relationships. So if anybody's been not playing fair with you, Aries, or not showing up or disappointing you or lying to you or whatever, all of a sudden, like we were talking about Scorpio, the Aries is going to go, I'm good. Yeah. Where it was a famine, I got a damn feast going on personally and romantically. We're good. Just like that. So it's going to be thumbs up for Aries. It's not going to be just the one person or the one relationship that they're working on. So if you've been mistreating an Aries out there, I'd say
lies is man, you just get so sick of it. That's it. I get it.
Well, I'm the one that draws the line in the sand, and if they come over the line in the sand, my answer is simple. Now you don't get me. You don't get me. Wait a minute. No. I'm out. I'm a 3-strike girl. I'm out. We don't keep playing the same game. I'm not the dog that barks. I'm the dog that bites, and that bite might be, see ya. But, my whole philosophy in life is choice equals consequences. So if people make good choices with me, they'll have good consequences because I play fair. But if they screw with me, it's just like, now you don't get me.
Well, that's a good balance, too, because you're not totally being severe.
Well, it holds myself responsible, too.
But I'm
holding myself accountable, too.
And I've told people that, too. Like, you have boundaries, but, also set up you give people the benefit of the doubt, but not...
Absolutely.
But not to the point of like where you're just dumb
abuse
and naive,
abuse. Abuse is abuse. And here's the thing, Joe. If you don't allow it, you can't give it. If I'm not going to allow, if choice equals consequences. So first, back to the mirror work and the shadow work, in the dark night of the soul. I can't be abusive. If I don't want abuse, I can't be abusive. So I don't let people get to a point to where they abuse me. I stop it. When it's don't do that with me. I'm going to give you a warning. Don't do that with me. We're going to agree to disagree, and that's okay. We can be different, but don't insult me. Don't take it to a zone, or you won't get me. I mean, I'll give the warning, but I follow through because I don't do that to people. I don't cut people down. I don't insult people. I don't and for a very selfish reason, a very self-centered reason. I care about the progress of my soul.
Yeah. I get that.
And I don't want those people around me. Yeah. So, I get it with I live my life with compassion and action, but let somebody lie to me, betray me, plagiarize me, not respect who I am in their life, and it's like, okay, bye-bye now. Because that void, that gap will be filled by someone. When I don't allow that gap is going to be filled by a presence and an energy and a peacefulness and the right kind of relationship that is going to appreciate me.
Right.
Because I didn't let that energy take space in my life, you see?
So, how many signs have we got left?
I did them. But here's the thing. The tarot cards. Let's talk about the tarot cards just real quick before you go to break, before we start opening up the phone lines. So Venus in the Empress represents a lot to do with the Taurus energy. So if you look at the third major arcana card, we talked about Pentacles, but if you look at the Empress, she's lush. She's out in nature. I always say she's pregnant with possibility. She has that golden wheat all around her in a standard tarot deck. She's got the symbol of Venus in a heart right on the card in most of the decks, but she's okay in her solitude because she is the queen of nature and nature is blessing her. And I just find it interesting, although we go through the wheel of the year every year, that we've got all this Venus-ruled eclipse, this Taurus, and Venus is in the very compact, as this eclipse happens, it's in a very sweet, gentle, mystical dreamweaver sign of Pisces, so it's just, there's a lot of sweetness as eclipses can go. Although they can be wild cards and astrological exclamation points, this really is an eclipse that will give back to you. Be good to others, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, also means you don't let people take up your time to do things to you that you would never do to somebody else. But if you're doing it too, then you've got to be the first one to stop it. But it's not a Tower card eclipse. But the other tarot card that's involved is number 13, because we've got that Scorpio South Node, and the opposite sign to all of this Taurus is Scorpio, and that's the Death card. So what in our life that needs to leave, what in our life, and let's look at it this way, because the word death scares a lot of people. Whatever has served the best purpose it can serve in people, a person, a place, or a thing, an adventure or an exploration, if it's done the best that it can do in your life, then just because we get a separation or a break from it, like a death, we stay apart from that person for a while, or the marriage ends, or the job ends, or whatever, and at first we're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't believe that happened. It's going to be okay, because it's a metamorphic kind of cataclysm type of a thing. It's cathartic. It's like it's not a bad death. It's going to be that you get to be a butterfly instead of just a caterpillar in a cocoon.
I'm curious, though, how many people talk to you? You don't have to say any names or nothing. Now, how many people talk to you that are in like third party situations?
Right off the top of my head, I'd say in the last 3 months, at least five.
That's insane to me. Like,
oh, they're not. Ask me the bigger question. And are they happy? No.
This whole, what the hell happened to people? Or they're just afraid to, I don't know. But it seems
they're
like
afraid
it's
to change.
More rampant now than it's ever been, because we've learned helplessness.
Okay. People are walking around like little sticks of dynamite, because when they were ready to leave the job or the marriage or the abuse, then the lockdown happened and they felt more trapped, and all of a sudden they had to stay home, and now that people are emerging again, they really had to deal with what wasn't working and what was working. And I would say, remember, lockdowns are still opening up around the world, and some of them are locking down again, and I would say that these people, when they went through lockdown, or some lost their jobs or had to be around that partner. Remember, a lot of people in a marriage run out to work and they're gone from each other for a long time. So we just got force-fed all the people that we socially hang out with or live with over the last 2 years since March of 2020. And what's happening by the time we get to the end of this year is like, I don't want to ever be locked down with that job or that person again. People are thinking about their way out. I'm hearing it. Oh, they're planning. They're planning. It's happening.
So why don't they just do it? Like, instead of the planning and the strategy and the bullshit.
Yeah. When I needed to make the change, I walked from the job. I walked from the marriage. It's like, well, here we go back to the biblical. Just humor me for this one. What profiteth a man if he selleth his soul to gaineth the world? I mean,
I swear to God, it's the most annoying. The lies, and that's just the most annoying stuff I've been through in the past. Not even just been through, but talk to people about it, or have people call me. I'm sure they talk to you about it too. And I'm just like, what are you doing? It's annoying to even be around it.
How is it? Well, I say to people, tell me, because I'm interested to hear. I hear your frustration, but tell me what you're getting out of it. Like, is it just a habit, or what are you getting out of this that you feel like is helping your soul or helping you psychologically? Or if you're stuck thinking you're going to change him or her, you're not. You're in a dynamic here to where you're both trying to learn how not to be bitter, but to get better. You both are in a dynamic of this, and you both, if you're going to be in any kind of coupling, Beltane's all about the coupling, and the blossoming in nature. So I say to people, whoever you're coupling with, are you supporting each other, or are you just biding time, or are you at each other's throats? Taurus rules the throat. Taurus rules taste, smell, and the throat. The thyroid, the larynx, the voice box. That's why music and singing and affirmation, Taurus. It's like, and I say to them, just ask yourself if your soul is happy. Answer it to yourself. You don't owe me an explanation, but is your heart happy? When they walk in the door, are you happy that you live with them? Are you happy, that you cook for them? Are you happy that they get in the bed with you? Or are you just comfortably numb or uncomfortably numb?
I just don't, God, I have puke coming up in my throat for some reason.
obviously, the dynamics of all these signs really hit home. But again, that would be another sign. I say to clients, tell me when they're talking about something that's a pain or an angst, I'm like, where's that in your body right now? Where's that at? And just like you said, I got puke in my throat right now. Okay, Taurus rules the throat.
Yeah, that's where.
And what's
that's
regurgitating?
Where it
Yeah, and Scorpio, when people get diarrhea when they're under stress or constipation, that's Scorpio. So when people get GERD or acid reflux, they think it's in their throat, but it's starting in the digestion.
I talked to this woman one time. She was married, and she said, I like to sleep with my husband. It's disgusting. I'm like, disgusting? What the hell don't you leave him? You know? And it made puke come up in my throat a little bit.
That's so cute.
It's like, well, we got the kids in church, and then the house, and then it really started to come up out of my nose a little bit.
Material world. I'm just going to say it again. I mean, I'm sure it's in other cultures and other beliefs, Hinduism, Buddhism. I know it's in Buddhism. What profiteth a man or a woman if they gaineth the world, material possessions, and loseth their soul? And it is a part of spiritual prostitution, but their inner child is like scared to leave. There's been some things that were taken from them, or that they never had, or they never thought they would have when they were little. So they grow up and they try to cling on, even if it's an abusive partner, male or female. They try to cling on to an abusive partnership because at least there's something predictable. There's something tangible. I have a bank account, and they think because they have material money, different than when they were a teenager or a child, when they've got money, by God, I'll have my own money and I can leave if I want to. But see, they never healed the psychological part of it, or the spiritual wound that's still bleeding and still gushing. And so even though they have the money to leave, they don't. When they were 5 and 6 years old and getting beat or abused or abandoned, they couldn't drive, they couldn't leave. Then they say to themselves in their teens, I'll grow up and I'll work and I'll get money, and this will never happen to me again. And guess what? They have the money. They could walk out the door tomorrow and get an apartment or go to another city, but they won't leave.
I can't even imagine,
I won't do it. Yeah, that's not me.
I'm sorry, callers, but I have to talk about this because it's just, I can't even imagine, being married to a woman, and then I feel it'd be like Al Bundy, and she's like, "Let's go upstairs, Al," and he's like, "Oh God."
I love that show. I love that.
You're practically getting raped by a woman because you don't want to sleep with her. So what are you doing it for? Paycheck, right? What are you doing?
What's the real sense of obligation? What's the real sense of it? Why can't you say to the man, hey, could we go to therapy, or could we go to couples counseling, or, we really aren't at a good place with each other. Do you think we can fix it? At least have that conversation. Be honest with me. We're not really into each other. So do you want to join forces and go fix this and figure out where we kind of turned on each other, or we just exist, but we're not really in a partnership. We just have a working arrangement, but you really don't want me. And eventually one of us is going to cheat, or something's going to go on where there's a fracture and a compromise because you really don't want me, and I really don't want you, and we're pretending. We're playing house.
And I read in this article that psychology, I forget what it was, but the front of the article is usually in that situation, there's one person in the household that's carrying the weight of everything, right?
That's right.
And someone's most of the household is codependent upon that person, either emotionally, financially, etc. And that person statistically falls apart physically, psychologically, health-wise, everything, right? So you were talking about your health here too.
Stress will kill you.
Yeah.
Any good oncologist will tell you, the first thing they tell you when somebody comes up with a cancer diagnosis, they'll say, so what's troubling you? What's been bothering you? I mean, I have oncologists as clients. I've heard it for years. They'll say stress kills people. They stay in something, and then it's like their big epiphany is when they have a terminal illness, and either the partner finally pays attention to them, and they get along until they die.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, or that's when the person says, that's it, I'm out. Or even if you're single and something like that happens to you and it's the job or whatever, and you say, okay, there's something really wrong with my psyche that I've let myself get this stressed out.
Yeah, I know, and maybe it's me. Maybe I'm psychotic. I don't know. But I feel like
we've all got a little bit of all that.
I feel like if I had to sleep with somebody just because I finally had to give in to them or something, I would have a tumor right afterwards. I really do feel like it just.
So the regurgitation up in your throat would have turned into it.
I don't know.
Well, I kind of think, and I could be wrong, but I kind of think if our soul has evolved or there's been reincarnation or a host of all those beliefs, if we are on a journey to continue to improve ourselves and evolve, and we keep compromising ourselves and we keep making excuses for being and doing with people and things, not blaming them, but staying in places that we know that aren't good for our higher evolvement, or our soul isn't happy. We're spirit inside a body. So if we're psychologically wounded and we're wounding other people, or we keep letting ourselves get wounded, or we keep letting ourselves be abused, okay, that's a form of like striking out. I mean, it's a form of you're getting hit or you're hitting others with your energy. It's just like when Mercury goes into Gemini. Mercury's going to go into Gemini and it's going to go retrograde on May 10th. So Mercury's powerful in Gemini. So the one thing I always say about the air signs, and especially when Mercury's in Gemini, if you want, those of you that are not having problems in your relationship, and you're thinking, how can I up my game in my single life or my romance? When Mercury goes into Gemini, wordplay becomes foreplay.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Well, it's how you say what you say, and there's an art in sometimes not saying anything. Like we don't always have to add our opinion, or we don't always have to jump into the conversation to talk about ourselves. May 1st, 2nd, Mercury's going into Gemini. So the art of communication and the ability to at least talk to that partner that you're not happy with, or finally stop lying to them or sneaking on them and turn around to them and say, you know what, I'll start this. We've not been happy for a long time. I would like to say, let's either fix this or let's make a plan to get out, because it's not good for the kid, it's not good for our parents, it's not good for our friends, or, we're lying to ourselves besides lying to each other. We're lying to ourselves. So can we make this work, or can we make a plan to be able to not spend all the money with the attorneys and get out of this situation? And I hear the same thing with people that absolutely hate their job. I hear the same thing.
If you do your job, men, you won't end up in court. Just try it.
Right.
You can manipulate the woman all day long and say, no, I'll beat you in court, and try to make her feel guilty and all kinds of stuff. But eventually, if you don't do your job, you end up in court, you're going to lose. Just remember that. Just remember that. So, just do what you got to do to get along.
Well, it's bigger than that. Why are we settling for less? Why are we willingly hurting another soul and lying to them? It doesn't help. We're actually rejecting them if we're staying with them, but we're lying to them that we really don't. The guy doesn't really want to be with the woman, or the woman really doesn't want to be with that partner, whatever it is. You're also, even though you think you're choosing a safe route for yourself, you're lying to yourself, but you're also that person. You may not be talking about it, but their soul knows. Their soul knows you're cheating on them. Their soul knows that you don't want to be there. They're still getting those fractures and brokenness of rejection. Yeah, we live in the same house and we have a bank account, but they really don't want me. We're really not happy. Why am I doing this to him, her? Why are we allowing that to go on?
Yeah, and it's usually for the kids, right? And then the parents are so miserable when they're older.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all had childhood. We've all had childhood.
I stayed with your father for 30 years for you. And the kid's like, I wish you wouldn't have.
Yep.
I wish you wouldn't have.
Absolutely. We've all borne witness to that. Listen, if you're an adult, we all had childhood. That's the main thing I hear all the time is even if they never talk to their parents about it, the therapist friends I have, the type of mystical therapy I do, the psychic things that I see, it's just like, aren't you tired of that same wound yet? Yeah. But see, I get the karmic lessons of it. We keep often we're attracting partners in our life, intimate partners, and even our main boss in our jobs, or it comes back to us in our kids. The issues that we didn't work out in our childhood, again, not blaming the parents, even if there was bad abuse, but you either have to let it be a teaching and a soul lesson that makes you better instead of just bitter, and then you get in relationships that start the dynamic psychologically all over again. It's like, I promise you, even though you're afraid of change, if you'll just change that being your main lesson in your life, rejection, cheating, betraying, lying, staying for the sake of, I don't know, there never is a good excuse. But, I understand it if the woman is afraid and she's got kids and the guy's beating her, or there's abuse and she can't get out, but you make a plan. You make a 6-month plan or a year plan or whatever, and you get help. You get help.
Police.
And whatever, or go to the women's shelter.
I mean, damn.
Do what you have to do. Well, remember the other song? There must be 50 ways to leave your lover.
Yeah. Or you could do like my mom did when she got knocked around. She said, fall asleep, son bitch, go ahead.
Yeah.
And she wasn't playing either, so.
I come from a strong line of mountain women, that would say things like, even when I was a little kid, to your point, we were acting up, my little mountain mama would look at me and say, that's all right. Keep it up. I told you to stop doing that. Everybody's got to sleep sometime. Damn, we stopped right then.
Yeah.
It's all right. Everybody's got to sleep sometime. I'm like, what? Yep. She goes, I'll get you in your sleep. Oh, we were afraid to fall asleep and everything. I mean, she never did anything mean to us, but nobody ever said that to me before. Got my attention.
Yeah. Well, we do got to take like a short break. We hadn't took a break the whole time. Then if people want to call in, I don't know why. This is my fault, I guess, but I've got friends that call me about it and talk to me about it. Like, it's just this ongoing energy that I'm ready to just like vomit it up and just walk away, honestly.
Okay, but that's the beauty of an eclipse. Remember we talked about the Phoenix? So, and Scorpio rules the elimination system, and Taurus, represents the whole throat thing. So the two things that you mentioned, I feel like vomiting. Where does vomit come from? Diarrhea comes out one end and vomit comes out the other. It's still a purging. So what you're talking about psychically and emotionally is that we need to not wait till the body actually goes through, the constipation or the diarrhea or the vomiting or the regurgitation or the purging. We need to, but the body will talk to us in that way. But we need to be at a point where we can simply say, enough is enough. Why am I doing this to me? And worse, because I'm a scaredy cat myself, and I'm a coward myself to face what I'm not happy about. My God, there's another resolution. Maybe if you're living with somebody that you're not happy with, and you think the thrill is gone and the fire is gone, go to counseling. Then at least if you break up, you both got clean with each other and you both really tried to work on it. It makes it a lot easier to either stay in it or leave it if you've gotten some kind of professional counseling. Hey, that's why they went to school for that. I love therapy. I love counseling because you can let your hair down, and the things you can't say to the partner or about your boss at work or whatever it is, you can say to the therapist, and they know how to kind of navigate you around to why are you staying, what are you doing, what are you getting out of it. I mean, it's not just you and the fiery partner having a battle with it. You can go to couples counseling, and then you can go to single counseling, but I promise you'll get some answers.
And the counselor might actually be honest with you. He might say, look, there's no hope for you two,
Oh, well, yeah.
Or he might say there is, so who knows?
Well,
right?
you have the counselor's going to guide you, but you're going to have to do the work. There are counselors out there that would absolutely just take your money, so you keep coming every week, absolutely. So you have to you don't want the counselor that agrees with you all the time. That's
look, we'll take a couple of phone calls if you want to call in. I think we might have somebody on the phone. No, I don't know. We'll be right back. That's 1-800-588-0335 with Mary Jacina, Cosmic Condition. One phone line, so you have to keep calling if you want to get through. 1-800-588-0335. That's the wonderful call-in number. Make sure.
Joe, I want to remind everybody, because it's been a while since either one of us have said it, you do not have to use your real name.
Oh, that's right.
You do not have to say the city you're in, even though he might say area code 828 or area code 709. Just if he says, because that's what hosts do, hi, where are you calling from? Joe's not going to care if you just make up a city. He's not going to care. We want you to have your anonymities. We want you to be able to just not worry about other people recognizing you, the town that you live in, because
people
we want
really
you to
worried
be able
about that, huh? Yeah?
No. Listen, I did talk radio when people called in all the time, and here's what I got thanked for the most in the 80s. Thank you that I could call in anonymous and my family. I didn't have to say my city or my first name. No, they can make up a name, because I would rather someone speak from their soul and ask the question that they were never able to say to their family or their partner or whatever, and really get the answer.
Gotcha. Well,
I don't care if they say their real name. I don't care. But
I'm going to say your
know.
area code, and that's not going to give you away. All right?
Yeah.
So, that way you know it's you. 740 area code. You're on the air. Who are you speaking with?
Hi, this is Karen.
Howdy.
I was just calling in to get a general card pull. I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I would just like some direction.
Thank you. What a nice open way just to say, give me something. Give me something. I've got a lot of something going on. Give me something.
Yes.
Okay. You got the Two of Swords. So on the Two of Swords, there's a woman sitting very serene on a concrete bench. You look at the water in the tarot. The water's very calm and glassy, so she's able to monitor, like you're good with keeping a lid on your anxiety and the stress that's going on around you because you're busy just looking for the solution. You're busy looking for the solution. But she's got the swords crossed. She's got two swords and she's got them crossed. She has a blindfold on, like in the Eight of Swords. She has a blindfold on. So Spirit is saying to you, although you have multiple situations or more than one choice that you have to make or more than one scenario or situation, your answer lies within you. So your answer is to go within yourself, be it through prayer, ceremony, ritual, whatever it is, and just say, higher source, higher love, Holy Spirit, Christ, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in, I'm asking and giving thanks for some higher wisdom to come through to me for all concerned, because it looks to me like within 2 weeks you're making a pretty big decision. But the swords have to do with the frustration isn't building. It already did build. And now you just have to make a decision of which path you're going to take, which decision you're going to go with. But I feel like you've been kind of like, oh, God, it's like the old cartoon, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Which way do I go? But I feel like that I want to compliment you on your ability to be the captain navigating the life storms, because you did really well with it. You've maintained
it's been a long winter.
You've maintained your decorum, and you've been more concerned about not upsetting the apple cart for other people around this situation. That it's like the dominoes. When you make one decision, the dominoes are going to roll down and fall because we've got to walk ahead. And so I feel like that you're realizing that maybe at what cost to yourself and your own peace of not just mind, your own peace of soul. You've got to stay strong for yourself, because you're kind of like the hero archetype and the superhero, and it's like people aren't used to you collapsing, or people aren't used to you getting all stressed out, because they kind of rely on you to be the strong one or the one to have the answers. And so when we're like that, then it falls upon you to have to make that decision, and people will have to adjust to that. So about 2 weeks is going to be when, like you said, it's been a long winter, and about 2 weeks it's going to be like, look, this is what's going to be. I've thought about this. I've prayed about this. I've meditated about this, and something's got to give. Something's got to change. This is what's going to happen.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Thank you, Joe.
You're
Love
welcome.
the show. You guys are great.
Thank you, honey.
Hope she gets some relief.
She will. But it's tough to be the strong one. It's whether you're the kid and the parents rely on you, or it's like the hero archetype.
That's what I was telling you. That article shows the medical studies, man. Like you can't be the, what do you call it? The foundation, or the thing that holds everything up all the time, or you got millions of people that are codependent on it.
Not if the main soul lesson is that it needs to break apart for everybody to evolve.
Yeah. 620 area code. You're on the air with Mary Ducina. Who are you speaking with?
Hi, this is Tom. I'm so glad I got through. I've been wanting to call and ask this question for like 2 months now. But I kind of feel bad now, because I feel like the whole episode's sort of been dedicated to relationships and stuff. And I feel like it's been dedicated to me, because it feels like everything you guys have been talking about pretty much hits on my life right now. But
get out of a third-party situation. Get out. No, I'm just playing.
No, not a third-party situation. Now, I'm going through a divorce right now. It's my second divorce. I'm in my 40s. And I guess the question was, I don't know. I just want to know if the third time is a charm kind of thing, or I kind of feel heartbroken after this one, so I'm not really sure if I should just kind of. I know the basic answer is don't give up, but
no, I guess you have to take a rocky
love
approach
idea.
with love. Rocky with love,
right? Yeah.
Well,
it feels like love has a weird feeling in this type of society now, so I have kind of a negative opinion about it.
Yeah,
I can't tell you that people haven't been psychologically felt like they've had their legs knocked out from under them with all the woke, opinions, and no, you're not this and you're not this and that's not right anymore. And it's like everybody's the problem with the last 2.5 years is people have been trying to get in other people's faces and tell them this is what truth is. No, it isn't. And I believe a lot of that has happened, Tom, for a bigger reason, for us to go, I'm going to search my soul, and I don't care what you like. Don't tell me what I got to like, because I'm not telling. Here's the difference. I'm not telling you what you got to like or what your gender identification or whatever it is. I'm not telling you who you need to be. Get out of my face, because I know who I am. So it's gotten us more anchored in, even though we've had breakups, it gets us more anchored in, I do believe in love. If I have to have breakups, if I have to have divorces, I'm willing to do counseling. I'm willing to listen to what the criticism was. When you've had multiple breakups in relationships, what was, like, for example, I'll just use an example. If both of those men in our lives or women in our life have said, you play video games too much, you drink too much, you won't talk to me. If we can look at that as a stepping stone to say, okay, I've heard this twice, and person number 2 didn't know person number 1, and it's never just one person's fault, but maybe if I could look at the constructive criticism, because I'm going to come out of this still believing in love, even though I've had a negative idea about relationships or partnerships, I'm going to start working on myself more. Yeah. And as I work on myself, then I'm going to at least make those things that they finally got the courage or the anger or whatever enough to say to me about, you hurt me, you lied to me, blah, 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 and they went and they cheated on us. Maybe they did an action to where they broke the vow by cheating on us or stealing money or whatever, but maybe we were the lazy one in it. Maybe we were the one that took them for granted, even though they cheated, kind of a thing, or stole money or cheated on us with somebody else. So you have the 10 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups, it's so funny you use that term, third time's charm, because the 10 of Cups is the card of the happy family. It's the maximum card, the number 10 of the suit of hearts, cups, the water signs, and it has to do with that. If I just keep getting, don't berate yourself or punish yourself or be down on yourself, but just go neutral and say, what is it that I know before I got with person number 1 or person number 2, or my expectations that now when I marry you, this is going to happen? Did I define that clearly before I got married? Did I was I true to myself? Did I speak up, or did I suffer in silence and build resentments? They felt the resentment, and then it cracked. There was a crack in the foundation of our togetherness, because a lot of relationships, they'll stay together or they'll break apart because of lack of communication. It's just weird. So if you can start to isolate what it was that you feel like Joe's talked about on the show before, where he felt like that he, after a while, he was able to be friends with his ex-wife because he realized his part in it. And then when he reflected on it deeper, he said, I knew that I wasn't being fair to her at that time, and I gave her a hard time. He went full circle with it, and that's what will heal a relationship in the future. It's not that, we divorce somebody and we got to go fight for them to like us better when we break up. That's
usually what happens is you get divorced in your family, you lose family or all that. You think it's the biggest failure of your life, right?
It's not.
And then afterwards you feel this deep sorrow, and so you go do whatever you got to do so you don't do that again, to try to be good enough again or whatever, or take classes on masculinity or women or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you never want to feel that pain again. But the truth is maybe you had a communication issue, or you're just incompatible to begin with. Right. And it's okay.
Right.
Well, I'll give you a little hint, Tom. When I did a television show in Florida called The Psychic and the Psychiatrist, when I was in my 20s, and he said, okay, you're dating right now a lot? And I said, yeah, but I kind of keep myself from deep intimacy. I just do. I don't want to get tied down right now. And he said, okay. He said, so I want you to realize this. And he said, and we'll talk about it sometime on the show. He said, because this helps everybody. When you meet someone that you're attracted to and you think you're wanting to go to a different level of intimacy, whatever that is, he said, there's 6 people that are getting together. And I said, okay, you have my attention. I've not heard that before. And he said, it's you, the unique you, them, the unique them, and then it's you like your dad, you like your mom, them like their mom, them like their dad.
Yeah,
he said, however, there's 6 people. And he said, so most people are unconscious of that. So when we come together in a coupleship, unconsciously, and one person could be conscious of it, by the way. I'm real conscious of it, so I recognize it now, and I wouldn't want to do that to anybody. So the part of us that had the pluses with our mom and the pluses with our dad, that's the good stuff we bring to a relationship, all of us. But the part of us that had a minus with the dad or a minus with the relationship with the mom, we're unconsciously bringing that into the relationship and expecting them to fix that for us automatically.
Yeah.
And then whatever the hell they went through.
Yeah, kind of what I got from this last relationship is that I kind of made that connection with my parents that I was imitating how they showed love. And my dad was more like, kind of like, I'll buy you something, but I don't want to say I love you or hug you kind of thing. And so I think I definitely...
No.
Yeah, because like I was a really great provider and stuff, but like I felt like I was lacking and stuff like that. So, I was all good with that stuff, and then there's that other mix into it where she lost weight with bariatric surgery, and I feel rejected because I feel like I didn't match with her and lose weight with her kind of thing. So yeah, that's been kind of haunting me and stuff, and I don't know.
What a wonderful revelation that is, though, Tom. So now you're saying whether it was like you both lost weight together or you both went hiking together or whatever it is, now you've made a decision with yourself, when and if I get into another intimate commitment, I'm going to say right off to that person, listen, can we kind of entertain the idea, I don't want to push you, but can we entertain the idea that if something becomes important to you, like you really want to take a cooking class and you want me to take that with you, or you want to gain weight or you want to lose weight or whatever, and you, even if I don't go take karate with you, if I show up, and while you're taking karate and you're doing jiu-jitsu, that I'm actually there with you, supporting you as a partner. Do you understand how you came out of this breakup with a great awareness there, without blaming her or blaming you? That's a wisdom. Walk away with wisdom.
Yeah, I definitely got wisdom out of this one, but I just like, there's part of me that just like really just wants to give up on it and stuff and just go into the woods and live alone kind of thing.
Well, you got to heal, dude, but don't stay there forever.
Alone. You know what? When you do a lot of dating, and then you decide, you know what, I'm okay alone. I don't have to have another person, but by God, I'll learn what I can bring to the table. I will treat them right when I get into a partnership, and I'm not taking any crap. So when you have that confidence that you're really going to strive to be a good partner, like you're not being alone because you're bitter. Remember my statement, let it make you better, not bitter. And let me tell you something, the fact that you were a good provider and the fact that she was supported enough to go through that bariatric surgery, whether you did it or not, or you didn't lose weight with her or not, you helped her by being a good provider. I applaud you. Bravo, bravo. You helped her get over insecurity in her life, and maybe she didn't treat you right. I'm not saying she treated you right, but at least you got her over something that had bothered her for a long time. You were a good provider, and you helped her do that. And I promise you, because you did that, she'll look back like we often do when we've broke up and been out of a relationship about 5 or 7 years, and there'll be a point, not that you're attached to the outcome psychologically, but there'll be a point where she realizes, wow, when she meets other men, he was a good provider.
Happens every time.
Did support me financially in getting this surgery, and I finally lost weight. And you know what? You were a prince in her life. Happens
every time, bro.
Yeah, her aunt and cousins are pretty mad about it. So
yeah, it's good. You know what?
They're pretty angry at her.
You know what? Good dudes are hard to find.
But they're out there. Yeah. And so are good women. Whether you're gay, straight, or upside down, or still freaking out what your biology is, there are good people out there. And that's what you've got to prioritize. We set the tone It's just like I often say, Dr. Phil says, we teach people how to treat us by what we are allowing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So my psychic feeling is don't give up on love. Maybe look at the fact that you did do, even at the cost of your relationship, you did do some pretty good support. Let me tell you something. If a woman's too skinny or a woman's gained a lot of weight, she's gone through shame, she's gone through bullying, she's either side of that. And so the man in her life at the time helped her be able to go and that's pretty intense surgery, helped her to start that journey of being able to do that. But you met each other, not judging each other on whether you were too skinny or too big or whatever. And because you were a good provider, I'm going to say it again, because you were a good man and you were a good provider and you didn't hold that carrot over her head, you helped that woman get over a hurdle of feeling less than in her life.
Amen to that.
And that's what we do when we have money and we love somebody. If you love somebody, we don't want to get used, but we want to say, hey, take that. Yeah, go. The insurance will cover it. I pay for the insurance. Here's $2,000. Go do that. That's something you've suffered with for a long time. I'm not doing that to somebody going, you owe my ass. I'm just like, go do that, because then I walk away with, I helps that person.
Thanks for calling, man. We got to wrap this up because I'm already 1 minute over the hour here. So, but
thank you for calling.
Listen,
thank you for waiting 2 months and getting through. And to everybody out there, don't ever lose hope, because the light and love always win. I promise you it does. But you got to start with yourself.
Right on. Plus, you got the 10 of Cups. That's pretty damn good.
It's a wonderful card, and he'll call us back and let us know how that came out, too. That's a wonderful card.
Yeah, that's a good card. All right,
he
Mary,
needs to look that up on the Internet so he can enjoy that.
Last message of the night, because let's just say
I don't want to invade on Ryan's time.
The big message of the night.
Breathe in gratitude. Find what's already sweet spot, what's already a dessert, a divine dessert in your life, in your own qualities, in the person that you are. And right now, it's not egocentric. Right now, honor yourself and give thanks to yourself that no matter what you've gone through, you're still walking this world better, not bitter.
There you go, y'all. Better, not bitter. Better, not bitter. And we love you. And we'll see you. When's the next moon? The next moon on what date? Around
May 30th,
what time?
I think. It's
May the 30th.
Next new moon's in Gemini, and I'm pretty sure it's May 30th.
All right.
Joe and I'll set it up.
We'll see you then, guys. Good night, y'all. Sweet dreams.